ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलं पुरुष ये वेदगुं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं उतामृतत्वस्येषा नः यदन्नेनातिरोहति एतावानस्य महिमा अतो ज्यायागश्च पूरुषः पादोऽस्य विश्वा भूतानि त्रिपादस्यामृतं दिवि त्रिपादूर्ध्वोदयपुरुषः पादोऽस्येहा भवात् पुनः ततो विश्वं व्यक्रामत् शासनानशने अभि तस्माद् विराडजायत विराजो अधिपूरुषः स जातो अत्यरिच्यत पश्चाद्भूमिमतो पुरः यत्पुरुषेण हविषा देवा यज्ञमतन्वत वसन्तो अस्यासीदाज्यं ग्रीष्मयुग्मः शरद्धविः सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तसमिधः कृताः देवा यज्ञन्तन्वानाः अबद्धन् पुरुषं पशुं तैयज्ञं बर्हिषि प्रोक्षन् पुरुषं जातमग्रतः तेन देवा अयजन्त साध्या ऋषयश्च ये तस्मात् यज्ञात् सर्वहुतः संभृतं पृषदाज्यं पशुगुस्तागुश्चक्रे वा यव्यान् आरण्यान् ग्राम्याश्च ये तस्माद् यज्ञात् सर्वहुतः ऋचः सामानि जज्ञिरे छन्दागुंसि जज्ञिरे तस्मात् यजुस्तस्मादजायत तस्मादश्वा अजायन्त ये केचोभयादतः गावो हजज्ञिरे तस्मात् अजावयः यत्पुरुषं व्यदधुः कतिधा व्यकल्पयन् मुखं किमस्य कौ बाहु का भूरूपादावुच्येते ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहूराजन्यः कृतः ऊरू तदस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागुं शूद्रो अजायत चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च प्राणाद्वायुरजायत नाभ्या आसीदन्तरिक्षं शीर्ष्णोद्यौ समवर्तत पद्भ्यां भूमिर्दिशश्रोत्रात् तथा लोकान् अकल्पयन् वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसस्तु पारे सर्वाणि रूपाणि विचित्य धीरः नामानि कृत्वाभिवदन् यदास्ते धाता पुरस्ताद्यमुदा जहार शक्रः प्रविद्वान् प्रदिशश्चतस्रः तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्था अयनाय विद्यते यज्ञेन यज्ञमयजन्त देवाः तानि धर्माणि प्रथमान्यासन् ते हनाकं महिमानः सचन्ते यत्र पूर्वे साध्याः सन्ति देवाः ॐ नमो नारायणाय अद्य सम्भूतः पृथिव्यैरसाच्च विश्वकर्मणः समवर्तताधि तस्य त्वष्टा विदधत्रूपमेति तत्पुरुषस्य विश्वमाजानमग्रे वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्था विद्यते यनाय. We saw the 16th rik here. Vedahametam purusham mahantam. So this is the Rishi or whoever has known this Purusha, whoever has been doing sadhana and who has known the Purusha who is being discussed here, correct? In the manner whatever has been revealed to us, that Purusha I know. Veda aham etam Purusham. And what is this Purusha? Mahantam Purusham, who is greater than the greatest, bigger than the biggest, but also smaller than the smallest. That is the beauty. It may look like contradictory, but that's how it is. That means one who is beyond all measure. Understand that. One who is free from all kinds of measurements. You cannot measure the limitless, correct? So that Mahantam Purusham, and this greater than the greatest Purusha is that Purusha Jada or sentient, means no, that Purusha is all consciousness. That's why Aditya Varnam, like the Aditya who is bright, correct, who does not require, you don't have to hold a torch to see the sun. Aditya is Swaprakashaha, like this Atma, this Purusha, this this Parama Purusha is Swaprakasha, always shining, self-revealing, beyond any kind of tamas, darkness or ignorance. Even ignorance itself is lighted only by this consciousness. That's why you are really neither knowledgeable nor ignorant. You are the one who knows that I know. You are the one who knows I do not know. That is the I we are talking about, who is beyond all kinds of darkness, ignorance, and who has become all these forms and names. Sarvani Rupani Vichitya Dhiraha Namani Kritva Abhivadan Yad Aste. So the one who has become, or one who is appearing, one who is manifest as this, all this Nama and Rupa, without giving up one's own Swarupa, correct? Being what you are, being what one is, this Purusha has become everything, is appearing as everything. That is the glory of this Purusha. So this we saw. Further what? Actually with this the Rigveda Purusha Sukta is over. Rigveda Purusha Sukta is only 16 rigs. The 17 and 18 are from the Yajurveda actually. In fact, this Vedahametam Purusham, if you take the popular Sayana Bhashya, Sayanacharya takes it as actually a Upasana only here. Purusha who is in the form of Aditya, he takes it as a Upasana, and the Upasana Phala also is like this. Okay, that uh, that is coming in the next verse actually. That is because a similar thing is repeated here. Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam. So here Sayanacharya is taking this as Jnana, and what a Jnani is saying. Jnani is Anubhava. So this, since it is a repetition is there, this Vedahametam can either be taken as uh, Jnani's Vachanam, or if you want to give a different meaning, this is taken more as a Upasana, one who is Veda, the verb Veda can be used for both knowing and also for doing Upasana. Even the word Vidya, depending on the context, you have to understand correctly. Vidya can mean Upasana. Upasana means it is a mental karma. It is a visualization. So you do Upasana on Aditya, how bright Aditya is, how Aditya alone or how this Purusha who is appearing as Aditya is the one who has become everything, including your body, mind, sense complex. You can do Upasana like that. And then the Upasana Phala is that you identify with the Upasya Vastu. Whatever object on which you are doing Upasana, you identify with that only. Then also you don't have any death. That Upasana Phala, you can look the next, whatever is there, as Upasana Phala or Jnana Phala also. So here you can see Dhata, Purastadyamuda, Jahara. Dhata means what? The one who has brought out this whole Srishti. Okay, Dhata, the creator, you can say. Prajapati here. Purastat, before this Srishti or everything came, only, okay, Adyam, Udajahara. Udajahara means we can take the meaning as Udahritavan or Prakhyapitavan, like that meaning is given. So here two types of meaning can be taken. This Dhata, if you take this Dhata as Prajapati or Brahmaji, Brahma, it's in some Purana stories are all there, correct? Brahma is the first born, but Brahma is supposed to create everything. But he didn't know what to do. Then what did he do? 100 years he did tapas. In his own 100 years, okay? Brahma's years. He did tapas on the Parama Purusha. And then he got this jnanam, became all-knowing. Then he was able to create everything. Like that, stories are there. So this Udajahara can be taken to mean that also. Or in general, we can take it as this Prajapati in the beginning praised this Parama Purusha. Okay. Then Shakraha, Pravidwan, Pradishas, Chatasraha. Chatasraha, Pradishaha means four. Chatasraha, Pradishaha means the four important or main directions. Okay. North, east, west, south, like that. Four important, you can take it as directions. Pravidwan, whatever is there in all these four directions, the one who knows, Prakarshena Veti, Pravidwan, the one who knows all the details in detail, Shakraha. So Shakraha means Indraha you can take. So Indra also, Udajahara we have to borrow, Prakhyapitavan. Why Shakraha means Shatam Kratuhu. He say to become Indra you have to do 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. Then only you can become Indra. That is why Indra is called Shakraha. So this Purusha who was worshipped by, who is praised by this Prajapati, Brahma and Indradaya. Indra himself is the one, or Indra himself learnt it from Prajapati, you can say. And Indra became all-knowing again, like Prajapati, knowing everything which is there in all the four main directions. So whoever is praised by this Prajapati, Brahmaji and Indra, that Purusha, tam evam vidvan amritam iha bhavati. So the one who has been instructed by the Guru Parampara we have to take. See, every Upanishad also generally talks about a Sishya going to some Guru and learning. In fact, Mundaka Upanishad starts with Brahmaji only. Brahmaji taught it to his own Manasa Putras. Like that, how this Guru Parampara started. Or you take Chandogya Upanishad, means Shvetaketu goes and learns from his father. Or Narada goes to Sanat Kumara. Like that, everywhere you see that this Guru Shishya Parampara is very important, because this knowledge you cannot gain by yourself. It has to come through a Guru only. So here, the one who has known in this manner, tam evam vidwan, in this manner means one who has been taught by Brahmaji and Indra and or whoever the gurus who have come in that lineage, one who has known this Purusha in this manner by receiving the Upadesha teachings from a guru, that person what? Amrita iha bhavati, becomes Amrita here itself. So here again, two types of meaning we can take for this Amrita iha bhavati. If you take it as Upasana phala, okay, means the Upasaka also does not anymore identify with his own limited body, because now he has done Upasana and this Purusha who has become everything, correct? So his identity also has now his Atma. He has become the Atma of that all the Devatas, whatever is everyone who is manifest here, he has become the Devata of all this, whatever is manifest here. He's become the Atma of all the Devatas, because his identity is now with everything as the self of all. So that way, that person does not die, cannot die anymore. Even if this body falls, his identity is not with the body. So this Vidwan who has known this Purusha as everything and who is identifying with that Purusha becomes Amritaha here only. Need not go anywhere. In fact, for this, there is no other way. That also is made clear here. Nanyah pantha ayanaya vidyate. Ayanam. So, ayanam means the one, the goal which you want to reach, wherever you want to reach, correct? To reach this, whatever the Upasaka has reached, or the Jnani. For Jnani, the ayana is Brahman only. Moksha. For moksha, there is no other way. Or for becoming Amrita, there is no other way other than doing Upasana and this Purusha. So Anyaha Pantha, Pantha means way. Anyaha Pantha na vidyate, it is not there for this ayana, whatever you want to gain, to obtain. For this, there is no other way. You have to do this Upasana, or you have to go through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. If we take it as Jnana Phalam, you have to study the Shastra, then understand it clearly without any doubts, then overcome all Pratipaksha Bhavana, Pratibandhakas, all obstructions, all uh, habitual tendencies which are opposed to this knowledge. Understand something, any knowledge, any insight, once gained is not enough. It can still be there, knowledge can be there, but still habitual tendencies opposed to that knowledge also are there. To enjoy the jnana phalam, the results of this knowledge right here, You have to also overcome these tendencies, correct? So every day I am driving my car in one way, and most of the driving is subconscious. Understand that. Most people are thinking about something else, but you anyway drive your car or two-wheeler, whatever it is. Driving is really a subconscious activity. Once you learn driving, and once you keep driving in the same route every day, then what happens? Even though one day you want to go somewhere else, there is no doubt about that. Clear knowledge is there. You have to take a turn, but you will forget that. Or you are not, if you are not alert about that, the habitual tendency is what? You go straight because that is your regular route. So many times this happens, correct? Then you have to take a U-turn, come back and all that whenever you realize that you are in the wrong road. This happens. Why? Not because of lack of knowledge. Knowledge is there, but habitual tendency can overpower that knowledge. Overpower means that knowledge was not available at the right time, means the habitual tendency only will take over. Like that, what is our problem as a human being? I have been doing Vyavahara as this limited individual, taking this individuality as a reality. So I had a certain identity based on my body, mind, sense complex. Now I do Shastra Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, or Shastra Shravana Mananam first I do. What do I understand? I understand that this individuality itself is not the reality. Individuality cannot be called real because it comes and goes. In waking, I have one individuality. In dream, I can have some other individuality. In deep sleep, there is no individuality, but I am there. I slept well. And all my problems are because I identify myself as this individual. As soon as you identify with this individuality, all the individual's problems are your problems because individual is limited. World is so vast in comparison to the individual identity. So it is a problem. But now the Veda is showing you a mirror. Hey, you are not this individual. You are the limitless conscious being in whom everything is appearing, including space-time. Means that identity has to shift. Even if you know this clearly, you have a certain insight. That insight has to be repeated till you overcome the previous identity. You have to overcome. That is habitual tendency. Otherwise, habitually you are taking yourself as an individual. Then you will suffer. So this insight has to be repeated. That is what we say Nididhyasanam. For some people, this Nididhyasanam may not be required also because like those who have done, let us say, the same Upasana, already they have lost certain identity with the individual body, mind, sense complex. Their identity is now with the total. But even for them, they have to know they are Nirgunam Brahma. They are the limitless consciousness in which everything is appearing. For such people, Nididhyasana may not be required. Shravanam, Mananam may be enough, or Shravanam alone is enough. For Uttama Adhikari, we say. But Uttama Adhikari is only there in Upanishad, or very rarely we hear of some people. Even those people, we have to say that in their previous birth only they have done all the whatever sadhana. So for whatever reason, they had to take another birth and then they got jnanam easily. But otherwise, everybody has to undergo exposure to the Shastra. Shastra's teaching first you have to know from Guru. That is Shravanam. Then you have to understand whatever the Shastra is teaching you correctly without any doubts, clear knowledge. So you have the insight. Now it is your knowledge. Whatever is Guru's knowledge has transferred into you now. You have that same knowledge, but still I have to overcome certain tendencies. The tendency which I had, habitual tendencies as an ajnani, whatever I had, they have to be overcome. So you have to put effort there also. In terms of just recollecting the knowledge, you have to be alert till the time the other identity becomes sahaja. See, as an ajnani, you ask anyone, who are you? They are going to say, I am so and so. There is no thought about it, correct? They are very clear. Even if you wake somebody from sleep and ask, who are you? They will say, I am so and so. Instead of that, even if you are sleeping and I wake you up, you have to say, Aham Brahmasmi. Correct? The other identity should become natural. Whatever is the vision of the Veda, once that becomes natural to you, then you have got Paunj Gaya Mahatma, like that my guru used to say. Then you have reached your ayana. Wherever you want to go, you have reached there. Reach means really you are not going anywhere. Understand that. It is all purely cognitive. The whole thing is cognitive change alone. Nobody needs to go anywhere. It's all how you look at yourself, in fact. Your own self identity has transformed. The transformation can take some time, no problem. It's all a process of growing clarity. Like even how the sun rises. You cannot say when the day began or when did it become totally lit, means you cannot say very easily, because slowly when the sun rises, everything is become brighter, 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 and then it has become day. It is no more dawn, but it is day. Like that, jnanam is not an event. Understand that. That is another problem. Many people think that it is some kind of some bulb glows up. It is more like a tube light, in fact. We have to say, or it is, my guru used to give the analogy of a Polaroid picture. See, nowadays you have digital camera. You click, immediately you can see. But it is not like a digital camera. The original camera, the instant camera we had 20 years back only, or even before that, in the 90s, is the Polaroid camera. And in Polaroid, that picture will come, but you cannot see anything. Even if you look at it, initially nothing will be there. But slowly it will start emerging. It takes some time for it to settle and the image to appear properly. Like that, this whole thing, this pursuit itself is one of growing clarity, the pursuit of knowledge. Knowledge itself becomes clearer and clearer. The clearer it is, then the insight becomes stronger. Then you keep repeating that insight, then you overcome all habitual tendencies. And then when will I overcome means, till the time you don't ask when, you have to do that. Once you have reached there, you don't have any more questions. Okay, you know who you are. There's nothing to ask anybody anything. So that is the beauty here. So for this, there is no other way. Nanyah pantha ayanaya vidyate. Then what? Continuing. Yajnena yajnama yajanta devaha tani dharmani prathamanyasan tehanakam mahimanas sachante yatra purve sadhyas santi devaha. So here, yajnena yajnam Ayajanta Devaha, the Devaha. So this is, Sayanacharya says that this summarizes the entire thing, whatever was said before. Okay, whatever was is there, correct? The 17 bricks we saw till now. This is a summary of that entire thing. So, Yajnana Yajnam Ayajanta Devaha talks about this Yajna we saw, correct? Purusha became the Ahuti in that Yajna. And from that only this whole Srishti has come out. Purusha became the offering in the Yajna. So the Devas initially did this Yajna, Manasa Yajna. And by doing that Manasa Yajna, whom did they worship? Yajnam. Okay. So the Yajnam itself here is the one they are, the Yajnam means the Purusha whom they are worshipping through that Yajna also is called Yajnam. So the Yajna they did, and through that Yajna they worshipped the Purusha. In fact, whom did they offer? That also Purusha only. So that is the beauty here. So this first part is talking about that entire Srishti. Then what? Tani dharmani prathamanyasan. So that yajna they did, correct? And then along with yajna, there are other dharmas are there. Okay. Yajna dana tapah karma natyajyam and all. Bhagavan also says yajna means not just yajna, danam, tapas, all these things are also included in that. Yajna and other important dharma karya means yajnam, danam, tapas, all austerities. Then you give also. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you give. Correct? Giving shows that you have grown. When does somebody become an adult? See, as an infant, we are only a consumer. Maybe we give some joy to the parents by being a baby. Correct? That's the only thing we give. But that also we don't give consciously. Others take joy out of the baby, you can say. Baby being baby gives certain joy to the parents and others. But otherwise, the baby is purely a consumer, depends on everything on its guardian or parents, protectors. Then baby grows. Children also can contribute something. They contribute, at least at home, they contribute. They help the parents. Nowadays, I don't know. But we all used to help at least our mothers, we used to help in kitchen work, whatever the household chores were there. Then what? Then you contribute to society also something, correct? First you learn, that is your duty. But then once you have certain knowledge, you can contribute. Even as a student, we contribute a little bit. We can do social service. We can teach others. And then when do you really become an adult? Once your contribution is more than your consumption, then you are an adult. You have grown then. So whoever is physically grown is not an adult. Physical growth happens automatically anyway. You don't have to do anything. You keep eating, your mother will make sure of that. So mother will feed you. You eat, you grow. Physically, everybody is grown. But when do we become adult? When you contribute more than you consume, you are an adult. you are growing then. The more you contribute, the more you give, the more you grow. You have a certain maturity, which is very important. Without this maturity, you cannot become qualified for this knowledge also. Okay. So that's why this, not only they did this yajna, they also dharmani nyasan. Okay. So this dharmani, prathamani, asan. So nyasan means prathamani, asan it is. Tani dharmani, prathamani, asan. Prathamani dharmani, tani asan. So all these acts of dharma, yajna, dana, tapah, karma, like that we can take. They did, and by doing so what? They attained chitta shuddhi. If you are talking about jnanam, this yajna and all this dharma, whatever you do, a life of dharma makes you qualified. It gives you chitta shuddhi, we say. It gives you purity of mind. So what do we mean by purity of mind? To say that your mind is pure, first we should understand what is impurity. Impurity is what, in this context, we say that raga dvesha are the impurities, likes and dislikes. Why likes and dislikes are impurity? Because likes and dislikes gives you conflict. If your like is not dharma, if your dislike is not adharma, whatever you like is either illegal, immoral, or calorific. What do I do? Do I go along with my like, or do I do the right thing? That is where again, whether you have maturity or not, whether you have assimilated the value of values or not, all these things are important. So whenever I do something wrong, it is a very bad bargain for myself, that one has to understand and assimilate. Then you learn to go with the right thing in spite of your likes and dislikes. That means you are able to manage your likes and dislikes. Otherwise, your likes and dislikes can make you do adharma, and because of which you are going to gain more papa. And then you have to take birth in all types of adho yoni, lower life forms. You have to take or go to naraka. All that is a problem. Or face unpleasant situation here itself. Why? Because of your likes and dislikes. That's why they are impurity. In fact, another important reason for a Vedantin is that as a person with likes and dislikes, what is the implication of likes and dislike? The implication of likes and dislike is you are a wanting person. You are a wanting person means you are a limited person. Every like and dislike is only reinforcing your own limitation, that you are a wanting person. But what is the vision of the Veda? You are Purna. You are Purna Purushaha. You are not a wanting person. You are a complete person. You are the whole. You are full already. You do not lack anything. That is the vision. So as a person who is having likes and dislikes, the implication being you are a limited being, that is diametrically opposite to the vision of the Veda, whatever the Veda is trying to teach you. That is why first we have to remove means what? You have to overcome your likes and dislikes and keep it in your mastery. It can still be a privilege. See, desiring itself is not a problem. Bhagavan says, Dharma Viruddha Kamosmi. I am the Kama in you, which is Dharma Viruddha, he says, but which is not against Dharma. All likes and dislikes which are in keeping with dharma are nothing but a manifestation of Bhagavan. That is because it's a Shakti, correct? It's a privilege. Desiring itself is a Shakti. A cow cannot desire for an iPhone or a laptop. You can. So you have that Shakti. Nothing wrong. Everybody has Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. All Shaktis are privileges given to us. But it should not become a bondage. The privilege should not become a bondage. If you become a slave of your likes and dislikes, it becomes a bondage. So whatever is a luxury should not become a need, a want. If it is a privilege, means it's a luxury. If it is a likes and dislikes, means it's a need, want, it's a problem. So first you have to overcome your likes and dislikes. How? By doing your duty. Duty is important. That's why for us, everything is based on duty. You do your duty in spite of your likes and dislikes. You learn to overcome your likes and dislikes. You gain chitta shuddhi. So in that, everything is important. Yajnam, dhanam, tapas, all you have to do. Then only you can get chitta shuddhi. You can become qualified for this knowledge. Then what? Te hanakam mahimanas sachante. Nakam, interesting word, naka. Na aka. Aka means what? Aka means dukkha. Okay. All this janma, jara, vyadhi, all these are all dukkha. Birth itself is a dukkha. Then growing up, growing old, being subjected to disease, death, all this dukkha is not there in a place, correct? Akam na vidyate iti naka. So in Swarga, none of these things are there. Okay, if we take this as a upasana phala, means these people who have known, or these people who have done this yajna and all this dharma karya, they go to Swarga where there is no akka, there is no dukkha. In Swarga you go and enjoy. Straight away you are an adult. And there is no disease, old age, nothing. As long as your punya lasts, you will enjoy. Okay. So nakam mahimanaha sachante. So they reach, okay, this Swarga, this mahimanaha means this glory and all you can say. This glorious Swarga they attain. And what kind of Swarga it is? Yatra purve sadhya santi devaha. So already the sadhya devaha means those devas who are capable of assisting the Prajapati in this creation. They are all called sadhyaha. So the devas in the past, Purve also, they have attained this Swarga. So whoever all these exalted devas, before they have attained this Swarga, that same Swarga, these people also attained. So initially, this entire verse is a summary of all these 17 things, because this part talks about the Srishti, all the Yajna. Then this is talking about the Upasana. Then the Phalam. Okay. So this is like a summary verse. Now with this, the Purusha Sukta is over. even in the Yajurveda. Okay. Then in fact that's why we normally chant Om Namo Narayanaya, because the other, you see here 6 more rigs are there, correct? These 6 are called Uttara Narayanam. So before starting the Uttara Narayanam, we normally chant Om Namo Narayanaya and then start. Some people do not chant that also. It depends on where you are chanting. But normally in whatever we learned, after we finish this Yatra Purve Sadhya Santi Devaha Om Namo Narayanaya, and then we start Adhya Sambhuta Prithivyairasa Acha Vishwakarmana Samavartatadhi Tasya Tvashta Vidadhat Rupameti Tat Purushasya Vishwamajanamagre, like that. So this Uttara Narayana, in this the first 3 rigs are, again you can see Trishtub Chandas. Then this Anushtub also is there. Yo Devebhya Atapati, Yo Devanaam Purohitaha. 4th and 5th are Anushtub. Again the 6th one is also Trishtub. So these 6 rigs are there, additionally called Uttara Narayana. So here Adbhyaha, Adbhyaha means from water, up only becomes Adbhyaha. Okay. Sambhutaha, from the water came. Okay. From the water appeared or came or was created. What? Prithivyairasa acha. So this Prithvi means earth. Okay. And Rasa, Rasaha cha. So here Rasa means you can take it as the elements, all other elements. In fact, when we talk about the creation of this earth, in fact, here both this water and earth and all, we have to take it as a upalakshana for all, starting from Akasha itself. Okay. So whenever Srishti is talked about, sometimes like in Taittiriya Upanishad, it starts from Akasha. Then Akashad Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agnerapaha Adhyaf Prithvi. There also Adhyaha Prithvi is there in Taittiriya Upanishad. Prithivya Oshadhayaha Oshadhibhyonnam, like that it goes. Okay, so here also this Srishti, all the Panchabhutas we have to consider. They are all created by whom? Vishwakarmana Samavartatadhi. Okay. Vishwakarmanaha, the one who created everything. Vishwakarma also is typically considered to be the heavenly architect, correct? Vishwakarma Puja and all we do. In fact, even in our engineering college, this Vishwakarma Puja we used to do in our labs once in a year. Vishwakarma Puja. Like we do this Ayudha Puja and all in the south. In north, this Vishwakarma Puja is there. But here Vishwakarmanaha means literally the one who created everything. Okay. So like that we have to take the creator of everything, Vishwakarma, Vishwakarmanaha, Samavartatadhi. Okay. Samavartata means Sambhuta. Samabhavat. So this Vishwakarma only appears as everything again. Samavartata Adhi. Adhi Samavartata means the one who appears in everything as all these elements, the five elements. So we have a five elemental model of creation. But the one who appears as all these things is this Purusha only again. The Purusha about whom we talked about. That one Purusha alone is appearing as all these things. Correct? That's what Tasya Tvashta Vidadhat Rupameti. So this Tvashta, Tvashtra means there is also a meaning of carpenter. Okay. But here we can take it as Tvashta also is a name for Aditya. The Aditya Swarupa, the one who is appearing as Aditya, Vidadhat Rupameti, it takes on various forms. Okay, this Vishwakarma, this Purusha only brings out all these forms. Okay, Vidadhat is again Dha only is the Dhatu here. One who takes on or establishes all these forms. Rupameti, one who becomes everything, one who appears as everything. And Tat Purushasya Vishwamajanamagre, Agre, in the beginning, correct? Before everything was there. So this Vishwam, before everything was formed, Vishwamajanam Agre, Tat Purushasya. This Purusha is there in the beginning, and then after that only this entire Srishti has come about, correct? So I know that Purusha, who is the Karana for everything. See, our problem is what? We are stuck in this Karya. We only see the multifarious names and forms in the world, the creation. And we are doing Vyavahara there. But we fail to see the one reality which is appearing as this many. There is only one reality, one conscious being alone who is self-revealing, self-existent. That being alone is appearing as this many. But we do not see that reality. So those who see only the many are the Ajnanis. The Jnani only sees the one. That's why even Bhagavan says, Yasyan Jagarti Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe and all. Ya Nisha Bhutanam Tasyan Jagarti Sanyami. So whatever is night for the Ajnanis, normal beings, to that the Jnani is awake. Means what? Ajnanis do not see the one reality which is there behind all this appearance, all these different names and forms. But for Jnani is only seeing that. Okay. Jnani is awake to that reality. And whatever the Ajnanis see, they are only seeing the different objects, the objective world. They take themselves as one of the subject in this objective world and suffer. And Jnani is It is night for Jnani. Jnani does not see that. There is no fear, there is no samsara for Jnani. Because Jnani does not see anything other than oneself. There is only one reality which is appearing as this many. That is the vision. So the vision is you have to look at the Karana, Sarva Karana. Once you understand that the entire thing is nothing but one Sad Vastu, Sadeva Saumya, Idam Agre Asit, Ekameva Advitiyam and all, even the Upanishad says. So only one Vastu is there, that alone is really existing, that alone is appearing as many means the one who sees that one is seeing the Karana, Sarva Karana. So the Karana Drishti is there. You know that everything has come from only one Karana, and that Karana is not separate from you. Because if everything is one Vastu, that Vastu cannot be separate from you. That is you, in fact. So myself alone is appearing as both the subject and object. The subject object both are established in me as a conscious being who is limitless. Limitless in the sense that who is beyond space, time, and all the objects which you see as many, who is beyond all differences, but who is appearing as this many. So that is the vision. So that is the vision, means you have to see beyond the obvious. Even scientists have some understanding of this, correct? They are also trying to find the fundamental particle and all that. Whatever we see as many, different people may see it differently, correct? A chemical guy, chemist can see everything as a chemical. Biologist can see everything as cells and all that. Cell, RNA, DNA. Physicist can see it as quantum physicist will say it is all electron, proton, neutron, and further subatomic particle and all that. In fact, finally they say 99% is space. If 99% is space, then how did we get all this solid, liquid, gas? That is all Maya. That's why. So you have to see beyond this Maya and understand the Satyam, whatever is Satyam. The Mithya, you have to give up in your understanding. It's all cognitive change again. You see the Satyam. Even while the elephant is there, you are seeing the wood. If you are looking at the wood, there is no elephant in wood, correct? In woodness, there is no elephant. But if you see only the elephant, ferocious elephant is there and you get fear, then you are not seeing the wood. So normal people are only seeing the elephant, they miss the wood and all the different features of elephant, many things they are seeing. But Jnani is seeing only one thing, everything is wood only. That is the vision. And again, Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasah Parastat Tam Evam Vidvan Amrita Iha Bhavati Nanyah Pantha Vidyate Yanaya. So this is actually a repetition only, as I told you. Meaning also is the same. I know this Purusha, Mahantam Purusham. So if we take this as Upasana Phala, then this we can take it as Jnana Phalam, whatever is repeated here. And other than Jnanam, there is no other way you can gain this Amritatvam. Real Amritatvam is only by Jnanam, because you know yourself as the limitless, beyond birth and death, not even subjected to space-time. How can we talk about even birth or death and all that? So that is your real nature. and you know that because you see beyond the Karya Jagat, you see the Karana. And then finally you see that Karana also is not separate from me. I am that Karana in fact. That is the Jnanam. That is how you know this Purusha who is Swaprakasha. That Purusha is not separate from you. Puri Shayanat Purushaha. That Purusha only is also there in you, correct? He is the Antaryami. So that knowing that Purusha as oneself, I have gained immortality. And there is no other way other than knowing this. Knowledge alone is the path. We will continue this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः जी.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.